Hotel room. As usual, night falls early in the winter in Pete. By the time you look up from a thick pile of files, it's already getting dark outside the window. Through the glass, you can see the low roofs opposite the hotel where a blanket of snow has accumulated, reflecting the lights. You return your keys and lie back, falling onto the soft sofa. It's finally over. Hearing light footsteps coming from next to you, you tilt your head and see Artem approaching with a cup of tea.
쉬엄쉬엄해요. 마을 특산품인 홍차인데 맛이 괜찮은 것 같아요.
Picking up the cup from his hand, you take a sip of the tea and feel your tense nerves relax a bit as the aroma blooms between your lips. It's delicious! Artem sits down next to you. As the sofa sinks a little, you take the chance to scoot closer to him. The town of Pete is known for its hot springs. This time, you and Artem have accepted an emergency case from a regular client of the firm and come here to deal with a cross-border acquisition case. After the meeting this afternoon, the two of you have returned to your room to sort out the remaining issues. I've read through all the relevant files. The problems in today's meeting shouldn't be difficult to solve. I'll send an email to the client's team for confirmation. Things should proceed smoothly afterward.
잘 됐네요. 내 쪽도 잘 마무리했어요. 이번에는 지인 의뢰라 좀 빨리 움직여야 하는데. 피곤해요? 아직 시간은 충분하니까 일단 쉬는 게 어때요?
I'm alright. I've had enough rest. But I didn't know you were acquainted with the client. It's the first time I've heard you mention that. You're aware that the client, Mr. Leon Stone, is a regular client of the firm, but you didn't know that he and Artem had a personal relationship.
이석준 씨랑은 몇 번 같이 일했던 적이 있어서 나름 잘 아는 사이예요. 원래 이 사건을 맡았던 변호사가 개인적인 사정으로 못하게 돼서 급하게 날 찾아온 거더라고요.
That explains the urgency.
이번 건만 끝나면 좀 여유로울 테니까 그때 휴가 가는 것도 좋을 것 같아요.
Speaking of a holiday, placing the cup on the table, you find yourself gazing outside as night permeates the room and envelops the town in serenity. Recalling that you and Artem are here for work, you can't help but let out a heavy sigh and bury your head in Artem's neck. Isn't this town close to Chesania? I can't believe we're back again so soon. Do you think it's some strange arrangement of fate? Every time we come here, it always has something to do with work. This country is famous for its hot springs. It's such a pity that we haven't had a chance to just soak in them on either trip. You feel Autumn's hand gently resting on your back. He pats you lightly and you hear his voice tinge with a smile.
다음 휴가지를 아예 여기로 하는 건 어때요? 잠깐 일은 제쳐두고 지내는 거죠.
It's a good idea, but I have a feeling we're going to run into another emergency. The moment you say that, you can vividly picture the situation in your mind. You shake your head, refusing to dwell on that thought. Autumn gazes at you, as if seeing right through the whole drama you just imagined, and chuckles slightly.
어쩌면 우리가 정말 여기랑 별난 인연이 있을지도 모르죠.
Oh?
왠지 이번에 일하는 동안 예쁜 추억을 만들 수 있을 것 같아서요.
Realizing what Autumn's referring to, you nudge his arm with a smile as memories flash before your eyes. Well, hearing you say that, I'm certainly looking forward to it. Autumn's phone vibrates, interrupting your conversation. After checking the time, he helps you up.
이따 이석준 씨랑 같이 저녁 약속이 있어서 슬슬 출발해야 할 것 같아요.
Okay, I'm just going to get ready. As you rummage through the suitcase for something nice to wear, you begin to make plans for the days ahead. The next acquisition meeting is scheduled for 3 days from now, so you and Artem don't really have a hectic schedule for the next few days. Speaking of which, after that rush meeting today, I think we have a somewhat relaxed schedule for the days to come. We should be able to find some time for a walk around town in the next few days.
그렇네요. 그럼 한번 계획을 세워볼게요.
Cafeteria. After getting ready, you and Artem arrive at a nearby restaurant soon after Leonson arrives.
오래 기다리셨죠?
아니요. 저희도 방금 왔습니다.
Leonson smiles at you politely after shaking hands with Artem.
변호사님 소문은 일찍이 들었어요. 사실 이번에도 백 변호사님이 추천해 주셨거든요. 잘 부탁드릴게요.
Artem recommended me? You often went with Artem to meet clients before, but this time he didn't tell you in advance. Is it because he's been too busy? You subconsciously glance at Artem, but he simply continues with a small talk without any particular response to Leonstone's word. Seeing that there's nothing unusual with Artem, you decide to refrain from delving further and nod at Leonstone instead. Thank you, Mrs. Stone. I'm looking forward to that as well. After catching up with Artem for a bit, Leonstone brings the conversation back to the hot spring town.
참, 두 분 다 서둘러 오시느라 마을 구경도 제대로 못 하셨죠?
그렇게 됐네요.
시간은 충분하니까 일단 편하게 둘러보세요.
Leonstone casts a glance around the restaurant.
눈치채셨을진 모르겠지만 파텔 마을에 관광객이 많진 않아요.
He's right. The restaurant is far from busy, with only a few tourists dining.
근처 온천 마을에 비하면 파텔 마을이 지리적으로 훨씬 유리한 위치에 있는데 그런데도 인구 유동량이 다른 온천 마을이 못 미친다는 건 이전의 경영 패턴과 관련이 있는 건가요?
네, 지금 저희 팀에서 이 부분을 조사하고 있는데 두 분께서도 관광객 입장에서 실제 경험을 체험해 보시면 좋을 것 같아요.
Leonstone's proposal perfectly aligns with your plan, so you and Artem happily accept his request. We don't have any problem with that, but we're not professionals. Our opinion might...
그냥 체험 위주로 경험해 보시고 느낌만 간단히 알려주시면 돼요.
Street. To get a quick overview of all of Pete, you and Artem hop on an open-top sightseeing bus after grabbing a tourist map from the hotel. The bus isn't moving too quickly, so the two of you have a clear view of the passing scenery. However, with no walls or windows for shelter, you and Artem feel buffeted by the wind, frozen from the spells of cold. You can't help but shrink into your coat. The next moment, Artem reaches out to adjust your scarf.
추워요?
A little. He takes your hand and puts it in his pocket. His palm feels dry and warm, dispelling some of the cold.
아니면 다음 역에서 내려서 걸어갈래요? 그럼 좀 따뜻할 거예요.
Sounds good to me. Artem hands you the tourist map. There's a lake surrounded by trees near the next station. You point to the stop with your spare finger. Why don't we go take a walk in the woods?
그래요, 그럼.
앞에 있는 숲 말씀이시죠? 거기에 노천 온천이 있는데 파텔 마을에서 경치가 제일 볼만한 곳이에요.
The driver, who's probably overheard your conversation, starts introducing the scenic spot to you and Artem.
근데 투어 버스로는 바로 갈 수가 없어서 두 분이 가시려면 30분 정도 걸어가셔야 해요.
That's a bit far.
아무래도 숲 안으로는 도로를 내기 힘드니까요.
As the three of you are talking, the driver suddenly honks his horn, causing you and Artem to fall silent. Glancing at the side of the road, the two of you notice pedestrians stepping aside to make way for the sightseeing bus.
도착했습니다.
The bus stops slowly at the station ahead of you. As expected, there's a small path aside leading into the woods.
여기서 오솔길을 따라 쭉 걸어가세요.
Okay, got it. Woods. You and Artem quickly reach the woods. Looking around, there seems to be a few people in the area. Snow covers the branches and the ground. The woods seem fully clad in a blanket of white except for the signs and the fog in the trail. You and Artem walk on the snow, leaving behind deep and shallow footprints and making faint cracking sound as you two step on fallen twigs. Glancing back, you notice the string of footprints the two of you have made.
왜요?
You nudge Artem's arm, signaling for him to look at the footprints. It's not a short distance on foot, but it's sort of interesting to walk in the snow. Our footprints have been recorded. It feels like a fairy tale.
동화 속 이야기요?
Yeah, like how the protagonists leave a trail of breadcrumbs on the road when having an adventure in the forest so they wouldn't get lost. Now that you've already started the story, you find yourself giving free rein to your imagination. These footprints can be our breadcrumbs. In that case, hopefully it won't snow again in a while. If the snow covers the footprints, we might get lost in the woods. Artem gently squeezes your hand in his pocket and lets out a low chuckle, infected by your cheerful demeanor.
다행히 지금은 다람쥐도 겨울잠을 잘 때라 우리랑 발자국이 섞일 걱정은 없겠네요.
You look up at Artem's cheek, listening quietly as he speaks. It's as if the two of you could truly enter the world of fairy tales through a casual conversation.
길 잃는 건 나중에 고민하고 지금은 일단 모험의 보상을 즐겨보자고요.
Artem suddenly stops. Returning your gaze from his cheek, you realize that the two of you are already standing in front of the hot spring.
다 왔네요.
As you and Artem were talking, the two of you had already made your way through the woods to a clearing much larger than you imagined. Warm vapors arises from a small patch of natural hot spring amidst the winter chill, lingering momentarily in the air before dissipating, turning the place into a hidden paradise. It's beautiful.
와서 보니까 정말 걸어올 만한 가치가 있었어요.
But this beauty is seldom seen by visitors. With that thought, you let out a regretful sigh. But it takes half an hour to walk here, so people might have second thoughts. After all, there are plenty of hot springs in Peach, so this one might not be the best choice.
여기까지 왔는데 한번 들어가 보자고요.
Oh, but we haven't brought anything. How? Before you can finish your sentence, Artem pulls you down to squat by the spring and helps you roll up your sleeves. Quickly grasping what he means, you gently stir the spring with your hands.
듣기로는 특이하게 손만 담그는 탕도 있대요. 손을 집중적으로 관리하는 온천인 거죠. 파텔 마을에 그런 건 없지만 한번 여기서 대신 해보자고요.
Good idea. Dipping your hands in the spring, you feel warmth slowly spreading from the center of your palms. Under the sunlight, the shadows of Artem's hands and yours can be seen on the bottom of the pool. You open your hands, putting one on top of the other with fingers pointing in different directions. As expected, the shadows at the bottom forms the shape of a crab. You find yourself in a playful mood as you move your hands next to Artem's, simulating the lateral movement of a crab and gently pinching his finger.
꽃게예요?
It's a good likeness, don't you think? Artem seems surprised, but after a moment, he makes the same gesture with his hands. The two crabs play in the water, eventually transforming into two pairs of hands holding each other. After a while, you're feeling warmer, so you withdraw your hands from the water. It feels so good.
시간도 얼추 된 것 같은데 이만 돌아갈까요?
Sure. Arts Fair. The second place you to visit in Pete is a large cultural products market situated near the town's entrance, making it the busiest spot in town. You and Artem weave through the crowd, examining the myriad of goods displayed in the shop lining both sides of the street. It's so lively here. I think they also sell lots of other interesting things apart from general hot spring supplies.
그러게요. 아이디어 마켓이라 그런지 그냥 온천 용품보다는 독특한 상품들이 더 많나 봐요. 또 온천 말고도 다른 문화 콘텐츠를 만들기 위해서 정기적으로 여는 행사니까요. 마침 다음 행사를 준비 중이네요. 내 기억이 맞다면 주제는 특별함일 거예요.
Specialty? You mean what makes Pete different from other hot spring towns?
가보면 알겠죠.
As Artem described, the market decorations are also changed according to the event theme, so things might get even livelier here when the event starts. Artem, take a look at this. You pull Artem over to a roadside stall. There are many snow globes in the stall, all of them featuring hot springs. And written clearly on the board next to them are the words "Best choice for unforgettable memories." Forgettable memories? Hearing your question, the shopkeeper points to the scenery inside the snow globes.
당연히 온천이죠. 스노우볼에는 기본적으로 칵테일 마을을 상징하는 풍경이 담겨 있어요. 좀 더 특별한 걸 원하시면 따로 제작할 수도 있고요.
The shopkeeper stresses the word special as if to correspond with the slogan. Upon hearing that, you feel quite interested. Can we make one for ourselves?
그럼요. 재료는 다 준비돼 있으니까 하시다가 잘 모르겠는 부분은 저한테 다 물어보시면 돼요.
You look at Artem, your intention's clear. He glances at the snow globes in the stall and picks up the one next to him for a closer look.
나도 좋아요. 근데 알다시피 내 손재주가 썩 좋지 않아서요.
You give his arm a gentle shake, smiling as you place the tools that the shopkeeper handed over into his hands. Let's think of it as part of the experience. I don't think it will be too difficult if you and I do it together.
알겠어요.
I'm not so sure about myself, but I'm sure the nice lady here will help us. You bring up the shopkeeper for assistance, who nods at you and Artem with a smile.
너무 걱정하지 마세요. 스노우볼 만드는 방법은 어렵지 않아서 금방 잘 만들 수 있으실 거예요.
Well then, should we give it a try?
그럼 그렇게 해요.
In fact, all the materials are ready made. You and Artem only need to pick out the ones you like and stick them together. With the help of the shopkeeper, the two of you quickly complete the basic crafting process.
원하는 풍경 있어요?
What about this street here? I feel like we've been there several times since we arrived in Pete.
온천 풍경을 고를 줄 알았는데 아니었네요.
We haven't really experienced a hot spring yet, so I guess I'll save it for next time.
그럼 이것도 추가해줘요.
Artem opens his hand, revealing a pair of plastic figurines dressed like the two of you. What are these? He points at the balls of models nearby.
방금 여기서 찾았는데 우리랑 닮지 않았어요?
Absolutely. You take the plastic figurines from Artem and attach them to a suitable spot on the base. It's almost as if it's really us taking a stroll on the street.
그러게요. 이러면 스노우볼은 완성이네요.
Next, you just need to put the base and glass cover together to complete the snow globe. You move closer to Artem with the snow globe in your hands and blink at him. It's done. This way, our memories in Fate will remain forever. Artem examines the snow globe. Snow falls gently inside the glass, settling lightly on the shoulders of the couple standing side by side. He carefully wraps up the globe and places it in the gift bags.
시간도 아직 이른데 구경이나 좀 더 할까요?
I'd like that. After walking around in the market for a while, you catch a faint fragrance of flowers and fruit as you pass by a stall. It smells so good.
아로마 가게 같아요.
You glance at the stall next to you. As expected, the words hot spring supplies that bring you happiness are written on the board. I knew we'd find another slogan here. There's a slogan in front of each stall, probably to match the event's theme. But after making a whole round, you feel like adjectives such as trending or popular seem to be everywhere. I know the event is about promoting special cultural themes, but there seems to be an excess of those here.
어느 가게나 본인 상점이 특별하다고 여겨서 결과적으로 좀 어수선하게 보이긴 해요.
That way, the central theme they're really trying to promote becomes unclear, even though each shop has its own appeal.
이 온천 아로마 제품의 홍보 문구만큼은 맞는 것 같지만요. 온천할 때 아로마 캔들을 켜면 행복감이 커지긴 하잖아요. 좋아하는 걸로 골라볼래요?
Before you can speak up, you catch a glimpse of shopping bags of different sizes that Artem is carrying. You were attracted by many stalls along the way, so before you know it, you ended up buying lots of stuff, especially with Artem gently encouraging you with questions like, "How about buying some?" But we've already bought so much already, plus... You move closer to Artem, tugging gently at the shopping bags. We aren't even planning to visit a hot spring, yet we bought plenty of supplies.
괜찮아요. 앞으로 쓸 일이 있겠죠.
As he finishes the sentence, Artem heads straight to the fragrance stall and starts to choose carefully.
이건 어때요? 향도 부드럽고 온천욕 할 때 쓰면 잘 어울릴 것 같은데.
Okay, but it's the last thing we buy.
알겠어요.
After concluding the shopping trip, which wasn't part of your plan, you and Artem return to the hotel with loads of items you've bought. Spa Center. If there's one experience you can't miss in Page, it's definitely the hot spring spa. So you and Artem decide to visit the spa center in the middle of town as the last part of your inspection. Though there are numerous hot springs scattered throughout the town, the one in the center is the largest and boasts the most comprehensive facilities. In addition to the spa, their most iconic offering is, in fact, the drinkable hot spring water found all over the center. There are altogether 7 types. You can find them all by following the map. Upon entering the spa center, you open the travel brochure to a map marking the locations of the spring water taps.
그게 해보고 싶어요?
It caught my attention when I was browsing posts about pits. I just want to find out what's so different about it. Autumn draws a rub with his fingertip on the map.
그럼 이렇게 갈래요? 출석 체크하듯이 하나씩 가보는 거예요.
Sure, so we should go this way, right?
잠깐만요. 가기 전에 각자 마음에 드는 컵을 골라봐요.
Autumn leads you into a nearby shop as he speaks. Shop counter. After selecting a pair of mugs, you and Artem come to pay at the cashier.
어서 오세요. 머그컵만 구입하시겠어요?
네, 계산해 주세요.
두 분도 마실 수 있는 온천수를 찾으시려고요? 찾기 쉽지 않을 텐데요.
Oh,
온천을 찾아온 사람은 마음의 힐링을 얻을 수 있는데 그러려면 행운이 필요해요.
then what are we supposed to do to be lucky?
그건 별로 어려울 거 없어요.
There aren't many customers in the shop. The shopkeeper clears his throat, looking mysterious.
파텔 마을에는 웬 사슴 한 마리가 사람들을 안내해서 이곳의 첫 번째 온천이 발견됐다는 전설이 있어요. 그리고 그 사슴은 행운의 상징이 됐고요. 그래서
The shopkeeper draws out the speech in the middle of his sentence as if to pique your curiosity. So,
그래서 두 분이 저희 배지도 구매하시면 앞으로의 여정에 행운이 따른다는 이야기죠.
he takes out a box of badges out of nowhere and places it in front of you. Deer-shaped badges are neatly arranged on the black velvet. He looks incredibly earnest, as if he really thought so much just to tell you a story, and the sales pitch was merely done in passing. You're certainly a good salesman.
행운을 갖고 떠나시는 것도 괜찮잖아요.
행운이라.
As you're about to say no, you hear Artem quietly repeating the word. His fingertips move slowly across the badges as he picks out a sleeping ear and hands it to you.
행운을 바라는 것도 나쁘지 않아 보여요. 이게 오늘 당신이 입은 옷이랑 잘 어울릴 것 같은데. 행운을 갖고 가는 건 어때요?
Even Artem can be moved by sales technique like this. You nod, snuggling up to him. Alright, you can put it on for me. Artem smiles and takes your hand, putting the badge on your sleeve like a cufflink.
이러면 좀 더 특별할 것 같은데. 마음에 들어요?
Of course!
두 분의 행운을 빌게요.
After leaving the shop, you and Artem start looking for the spring water. However, the two of you encounter a problem at the very beginning of your journey. Street. Wait, how are we back here? Following the map, you two end up circling around the area multiple times before returning to the same spot. Looking at the street in front of you, which has become quite familiar, you can't help but let out a heavy sigh. I'm not feeling the love from that badge. Artem looks down at the travel brochure again, as if confirming the route. After a long while, he shakes his head.
운이랑은 상관없이 가이드북의 안내도가 옛날 것 같아요.
What?
아무래도 스파 센터를 전에 대대적으로 리모델링하면서 일부 길을 새로 낸 것 같아요. 근데 가이드북에는 업데이트를 안 해서 이렇게 제자리를 뱅글뱅글 돌게 된 거고요.
That's terribly unprofessional. Artem puts away the travel brochure and takes your hand, walking forward.
온천수는 분명 이 근처에 있을 테니까 주위를 잘 보면 찾을 수 있을 거예요.
After walking around for quite a while, you and Artem finally find a spring water tap in a corner. The spring water tastes slightly metallic, but the prolonged search has left you disinterested, so you stop after taking 2 sips. Finally, this spa center is supposed to have the most comprehensive facilities in town. I didn't expect the directions to be so obscured.
이석준 씨가 여기를 인수하고 나면 손봐야 할 곳이 한두 군데가 아니겠어요?
Yeah, about that. Artem, maybe we should just return to the hotel.
갑자기요?
We've discovered lots of problems in the last few days we've spent in town. Tomorrow is the acquisition meeting. I want to go over my part of the materials again and make sure everything's ready. Artem doesn't reply for a moment, glancing at the spa entrance nearby. Oh, sorry, I was only thinking about myself. Is there any other place you'd like to visit? We can totally go there before heading back. We still have time.
아무것도 아니에요.
Artem shakes his head without pursuing the topic. Instead, he takes your hand and starts walking toward the hotel.
그럼 가서 전체적으로 체크하고 마지막 준비를 해보자고요.
Yeah. Lobby. The acquisition meeting went smoothly. After the meeting concludes, Leon Stone sees put.
며칠 다녀보니까 어떠셨나요?
We had a brief look around town. There weren't many inconveniences, but after you and Artem share your experiences over the last few days with Leon Stone, he nods at the two of you thoughtfully.
마켓에 대한 의견은 처음인데 저희 팀을 보내서 다시 평가해봐야겠네요. 이번에 여러모로 감사했어요.
It's no problem, Mr. Stone. We haven't done much, really.
근데 두 분 말씀을 들어보니까 프라이빗 온천 체험은 안 하셨나 보네요.
Private hot springs?
네, 스파가 더 유명하긴 한데 프라이빗 온천도 되게 특색이 있거든요. 그래서 사실
He glances at Artem, who shakes his head regretfully. What is going on with these two?
그동안 일정이 바빠서 미처 못 가봤네요.
너무 아쉬운데. 그럼 이렇게 하시죠. 이쪽 운영이 정리되고 나면 그때 다시 정식으로 두 분을 초대할게요.
좋습니다.
Hotel room. After saying goodbye to Leon Stone, you and Artem return to your room and start packing after changing into your casual clothes. Since the meeting was over ahead of time, your schedule has become much more relaxed, which means you two don't need to hurry like before.
호텔에 배송 서비스가 있는 것 같더라고요. 마켓에서 산 물건은 바로 붙일게요.
Sure, but the snow globe is fragile. We better bring that home ourselves.
그래요.
Looking at the entire set of hot spring supplies you two bought at the market, you can't help but think back on your dialogue with Leon Stone a moment ago. Some fragments of memories come flooding back. Cafeteria.
변호사님 소문은 일찍이 들었어요. 사실 이번에도 백 변호사님이 추천해 주셨거든요. 잘 부탁드릴게요.
That's fair. We aren't even planning to visit a hot spring, but we bought plenty of supplies.
괜찮아요. 앞으로 쓸 일이 있겠죠. 이건 어때요? 향도 부드럽고 온천욕 할 때 쓰면 잘 어울릴 것 같은데.
Street. Oh, sorry, I was only thinking about myself. Is there any other place you'd like to visit? We can totally go there before heading back. We still have time.
그... 아무것도 아니에요.
Artem, you've been planning on soaking in a hot spring from the very start, right? Piecing together the fragments, you quickly guess what Artem's been thinking about. Perhaps it's because you just revealed his intentions, but Artem pauses for a second, halting in the middle of packing. Despite his soft sigh, he doesn't seem surprised at your question.
요즘 당신이 밤낮 없이 일해서 이참에 같이 쉬고 싶었어요. 이석준 씨가 의뢰를 맡길 때 보니까 인수권이 그리 복잡하진 않겠더라고요. 그래서 쉴 생각으로 겸사겸사 받았던 거였어요.
Looks like you've been planning this all along. You nudge Artem's arm jokingly. He looks down, letting out a soft sigh.
네. 원래는 마켓에서 온천용품을 사고 여기저기 다니다가 자연스럽게 데려갈 생각이었어요.
Yeah, but yesterday... Artem's plan failed yesterday because you suddenly proposed to return to the hotel and go through the materials.
어떻게든 서프라이즈를 해주려다가 이렇게 들킬 때까지 타이밍도 못 잡았네요. 대신 다음번에는
There's no need to wait for another time. You interrupt Artem softly, shoving the hot spring supplies you just sorted out into his arms. Under his gaze of mild surprise, you make an inviting gesture. We still have some today, since you didn't find a chance to invite me. Then allow me to invite you instead. Artem, I don't want to miss out on your loving surprises.
당신이 알아준다면 그건 놓친 게 아니에요.
At some point, it starts snowing outside the window as the drifting snow falls gently onto the withered branches. It's snowing. You gaze at the drifting snowflakes, entranced, vaguely recognizing the view in front of you from somewhere in your memory. Autumn approaches from behind you. He too seems to pause for a moment as he watches the snow falling from the sky. Next, he takes your hand and steps out of the door.
따라와요.
Oh? Street. As the two of you walk along the familiar street again, you quickly grasp Artem's intention, seeing snowflakes falling onto the tips of your hair and your shoulders. Is this the scenery from the snow globe?
맞아요. 떠나기 전에 생각지도 못한 눈이 내리니까 이렇게 둘이 걸어보고 싶더라고요. 또 이 길만 돌아가면 바로 우리 목적지가 나오기도 하고요.
Artem shakes the woven basket full of hot spring supplies.
필요한 건 내가 다 챙겼어요.
You take this opportunity to grab his free hand and snuggle up to him. We seem to have a special connection with this street. You and Artem have been walking back and forth on this street for the past couple of days. Thinking that this might be your last chance to pass by, a strange feeling grows in your heart. Artem seems to be sensing what you are feeling. He slows down beside you, matching your pace. When we just came here, you said we were going to make beautiful memories. Now that I think about it, we already fulfilled our wish at the beginning of this journey right here on this very street. Whether you and Artem were passing through this street on your way to a specific destination or just talking a casual stroll, your memories are connected to this street, from the break of dawn to midnight, between bustling hours and quiet times. Is this also part of your plan? You pretend to be surprised, tugging gently at Artem's sleeve.
아니라는 거 알잖아요. 정말 계획이랑은 상관없이 한 말이었어요. 당신이랑 함께할 시간이 나한테는 충분히 아름다울 거라는 걸 알고 있으니까요.
Amidst the fine snow, you and Artem walk on side by side, as if the street extends forever.